Spring is here, and so are we. Eric and Ty, the average guys, with your average sports edition of... Well, that's the show. It's Average Sports. Episode 207.
I wasn't sure where you were going with that.
I thought I had something there, but...
I feel like you were just Michael Scott for a second. It's like you're just going to start talking. You don't really know what you're going to say. You just hope you find it along the way.
I had an idea. I was in the ballpark. I don't know. I usually have some idea what I'm talking about, Eric. And what are we not talking about, though, in this episode?
Well, I don't think we're going to talk about the Masters. I don't know if you know who won the Masters, but if you maybe have turned on a TV or the radio in the last 72 hours, you probably know. I was so
ready for a new name. Like, let's just get some new faces, new people to wear the green jacket. Anyway, moving on.
Next.
We talked a little bit back, several weeks ago, but this year, about the new football league, the Allegiance of American Football. Yeah, that's not a thing anymore. They're gone.
Yep.
Say goodbye.
They went the way of Felicia.
Yeah, indeed. So, XFL, they have to last a full season now, right?
I mean, we gave
them two. Yeah, we gave them two.
I think we set the over-under at 2.5.
Right.
Because I went ahead and said 3, and I think you chose 2. I still think that's a good spot to leave it at is 2.5, but this is a little scary that they just stop after week 7 or 8.
Out of money.
So,
okay, well, with real football, the NFL schedule for 2019 is out. Worth checking it out. Did you see any matchups off the first glance, Eric, that are intriguing to you?
Ooh, yeah. Some of the Sunday night games I think are quite intriguing. The season opens with the Bears and the Packers. That's a really good matchup. One of the matchups that I'm really intrigued about is the Saints and the Cowboys. That's going to be week 7 or 8 on Sunday Night Football. That's definitely a good one to pay attention to. And I want to say, who was it that the Chiefs play at the end of the season? I can't remember, but I want to say it was a matchup that I was excited about.
I think the Patriots.
I think it was an NFC team.
Okay. I
know Bears. I think it was the Chiefs and the Bears.
Okay.
So I think that's a really good matchup of defense and offense. That's the end of the season for Sunday Night Football.
Absolutely. And then switching back over to baseball, I thought there's a little more of a national news headline thing. I saw that Cuba is no longer Cuban baseball players no longer have to defect from the country. I think that's actually huge for the sport. There's a lot of good talent down there, and some of the stories that you heard, like Yasiel Puig, the way he had to make it into the country just to play ball, crazy. So that should open up some good channels for new talent coming into the MLB. So I think some positive news there.
I think that's definitely a positive step for baseball, 100%. Some of the things that I was taking a look at is, have you heard about this gentleman named Valentine Holmes?
I'm not familiar.
He's a rugby player from Australia.
Okay.
Well, the Jets just signed him. He's 23 years old. They signed him to be a running back, wide receiver, kick returner. But he is an incredible rugby player. I'm going to post some videos to our page if you guys wanted to kind of watch it.
I like it.
He is absolutely dominant down there, playing for, the Cornelia Sutherland Sharks. He started there at the age of 17, and in the Rugby League World Cup, he scored 5 tries in the quarterfinals and 6 in the semis, which are touchdowns. Those are touchdowns, the equivalent. So good for him. He'll be playing with the Jets this year. Farewell to Dirk Nowitzki and Dwayne Wade. They had their final games. They are done. They have retired from the NBA. Dwayne Wade went out with a bang. He had a triple-double in his final game, so good for him. Joe Pavelski of the Sharks had a puck smash him in the face, and he scored a goal with it, so I actually thought that was pretty cool.
You saw that, okay.
In case you happen to miss that or haven't been watching the playoffs, that was pretty awesome. And Chris Davis had a hitless streak of 54 games spanning at the end of last season to this season.
Wow.
And he came out of it huge. He went 3 for 5 with 4 RBIs when he came out of it. So good for him. I am an Orioles fan, but I don't know that I would ever want to see a professional baseball player go through such a hard time like that.
That's tough.
Got to be.
I'd rather.
That's.
I
awful.
would rather take a puck in the face. Yeah.
Yeah, I think. He scored. So
and
yeah,
he
that's
scored.
a win-win.
Yeah, that helped his points. Yeah.
So good for him.
Yeah, well, and good for you, Eric, on the translation on the rugby there. Yeah, a little bit of us don't know what a try is. Let's jump into our topic for this episode. Eric, you picked something out here for us to talk about. This is all aligned with the MLB and some rules, or rather, the unwritten rules. The things that players do that, we all know about, but not actually rules. So lay it on us. What are some things that you got some issues about what's been happening?
Okay, so there's definitely
season?
some things that are the hot button topics for this. And we're not really a hot topic show to bring those kinds of debates to the plate. That's not really what we do here. But it's definitely something that I wanted to talk about. But there are some clear unwritten rules that just seem more like smart baseball. Like when you're at first and second, no outs, like don't make that first out at third base.
Well, that's just smart base running, right?
Yeah, exactly. Like don't do that if you're. This is more of a superstition, but if the pitcher has a no going on or no hitter, don't talk to him about the no hitter.
Sure.
That's just more of something like that. And one of the other ones that I like as well too is if you're down 7-8 runs in the ninth and there's 2 outs, like don't bunt to break up the no hitter. Like, just don't do that. I mean, you disagree with me on this one.
I do disagree, but we could talk about it. But
if it's a 1-0 game or much closer than that, hey man, do what you can to break it up. That's not an issue. And then one that I found that was funny that I didn't know about this at all, and I guess had never realized it, is one of the unwritten rules that I found in writing somewhere is you are not supposed to walk in front of the catcher or the umpire. You need to walk behind them to quote unquote show them respect. Yep. And if there's an overly sensitive umpire back there, Joe West, you might just get yourself tossed out for that. So,
and you can't lean on the catcher either. Never put your hand on him just to dust off the cleats.
No, yeah, you probably shouldn't do that. That seems a little bit more realistic. You just shouldn't do that to any person, whether it's in baseball or not.
Hey, seen it.
You shouldn't touch another person just so you can clean off your cleats on them. Probably not advisable. But the ones that were big ones for me that I'm not huge about is, don't over celebrate on the field, whether it's a strikeout, whether it's you hit a home run. Because what's going to end up happening is someone's going to go ahead and throw a ball at you. And I have a major issue with that.
You have a problem with the celebration, or you have a problem with someone throwing a ball at you?
I have a problem with the lack of celebration in baseball. I want more of it. I want to see emotion. Stop being just robots and the old man of get off my lawn.
I think
you gotta keep the tradition.
That is an emotion.
The game the
I
way
think baseball
it
is
was.
a very emotional sport.
It is super emotional, but they very much frown on the fact of showing emotion on the field during play. The one that I'm going to call out, just to use as the example, there are many that we can talk about.
Sure.
But Chris Archer, the other day for the Pittsburgh Pirates, and Derek Dietrich of the Cincinnati Reds, it happened back, early April. And Dietrich launched a ball all the way into the river. I mean, that's like 500 plus feet. And he stood there and he watched it. He enjoyed his super long ball. Chris Archer took exception to that, and he threw at him on the next time he was up there. Now, if you guys know anything about Chris Archer or look at him, this dude strikes someone out, he's fist pumping, screaming, and staring people down. Hey, man, if you don't like it, play better. I'm sorry, but the dude knocked a 500-foot home run off you. He's going to sit there and watch it. He deserves to do that. And that's just my opinion on it. I think people need to celebrate a little bit more. You get all the celebration in hockey. You get all the celebration in football. You get a little less of it in basketball because it's such a continuous game. But if there's a big three, don't think for a second that they're not celebrating, going down the end of the court, holding down the three fingers or something like that. Watch Steph Curry next time he drains a three on someone and the play's still going on, see what he does.
But the game doesn't have to stop for Steph Curry just because he made a three. You inbound the ball and you get to keep going. In baseball, when you hit a home run, the game is stopped.
For what, 5 seconds?
it usually takes longer than that, and that's what will get a ball thrown at you too. If you take your sweet time getting around the bases or you're standing around, that is impeding the play of the game, and the game's already has its issues of its pace of play, right? And you just have one individual who wants to take that extra few seconds just to gloat about it when he could go out and trot off to the dugout with the rest of the team and then get the pat on the back and peanuts and bubble gum thrown in his face. I mean, whatever. You can celebrate there because then the game gets to continue. In basketball, you make a basket, you're running down the court, and you're still celebrating at the same time. In football, there is a delay of game still. You jump into a Salvation Army bucket, you're getting a flag. It's excessive or using a prop or something. It's because it's slowing down the game and it's just too much. But you can't throw a flag on a guy who's hit a home run. That's not how the game's played. So there's got to be a check and balance in some place. So the pitcher might take it into his own hands.
I don't know that that's the hill you want to go die on, that it's delaying the game for baseball. I think
they have enough of their time issues
for you to go
but
to
make
that argument.
But if you're the player and you're if you're on the defense, and you're out in the field and you're just ready to get the next batter up, then you just had a home run hit on you. You want to get that next batter so you can try to get that guy out. So you can, as you put it, you got to play better and do better. You shouldn't have to just wallow and sit there and watch this guy celebrate or do whatever he wants. And I think that's a very dangerous avenue to go down in allowing players to, celebrate while it's keeping the game from continuing. They get to do whatever they want in the dugout, Eric. There's a lot of celebration.
Look, man, I'll give you a certain extent of it. At a certain point, it's going to be too much. A dude staring at a ball for 5 seconds, not really going to delay the game. What is going to delay the game is then when Chris Archer, who is a huge celebrator himself, then decides to throw at Derek Dietrich the next time he comes up. There was a 7-minute delay because the two teams went out on the field and had a fight.
Right. You shouldn't instigate something that draws both benches out, even though that's a true crowd pleaser, which if that's part of the whole reason why you like the celebration is for the experience to the fan. Fans love it when bench is clear.
Well, they love it when bench is clear, but I think they love the celebration of the home run a little bit more too, especially when you knock a 500-footer, man. It's all about marketing.
Only for
at the end of the day anyway. I don't know why baseball has a problem with it anyway. They should be promoting them to do this.
Much of a problem, but
no, they have a huge marketing problem with their players. That's a whole different debate.
Okay. Save it for another episode. Well, yeah. I remain that I don't think you should get that platform to just really celebrate. You should hit the ball. If it's a big home run, that's great. Enjoy that. Get around the bases, go to the dugout, then do whatever the heck you want. But
disagree, man. Celebrate, stand there, do your bat flip, enjoy your trot around the bases.
Yeah, I mean, a bat flip
is fine. You don't like it,
fine.
play better. And same for pitchers. You strike someone out in a big moment, and it's a huge piece of the game, dude, celebrate it up. Go for it.
Like how? What, you run off the mound and start high-fiving the second baseman?
No, man, dude. Chris Archer is all about fist pumping, and he stares down the other teammate, the dude that he just struck out, like screaming at him. Oh yeah, he does that stuff. I'm fine with that, but don't be a little baby when someone else does it back to you because you threw a fat fastball down the middle of the plate and he crushed it 500 feet.
In other news, or really just discussion, it's a bit of a different. Onto our Who You Got for the show. Eric, you also came up with this one. Best ski resort. Best place to get for ski.
Yeah, I put this in there because it's, as you and I know, we spend a lot of time out west in Colorado. We talk snowboarding together for years, and it's coming to the end of the season. And, we don't typically talk about skiing or snowboarding other than maybe around the Olympics and, maybe the X Games or something like that. It may get a little snippet here or there, but I wanted to talk about best resorts you've been to and why you like them so much. I'm going to guess that it's not the wonderful